Hello, everybody, and welcome to the podcast. Dan loves to chat. On today's episode, I have Chef Chintan Pandya. He is one of my favorite chefs on the planet. He is the chef owner of a million of New York's best Indian and Filipino restaurants. Chintan was originally the chef of a restaurant called Rowdy in New York, and then he opened, I'm probably going to get this timeline wrong, Ada in Long Island City, which was a smash success. Then they opened Dhamaka, then they opened Rowdy Rooster, then they converted Rowdy to a restaurant called Semma, which is operated by a chef named Vijay Kumar. All of Chintan's restaurants have gotten crazy media attention. Semma specifically is considered the #1 restaurant in New York by the New York Times, by a lot of people on TikTok. It was actually the subject of a crazy TikTok controversy where these influencers called the VIP list went in and said this restaurant's really overrated, and then they got freaking destroyed. Everyone was like, you don't know shit. Pretty interesting. What I love about Chintan, first of all, Chintan's amazing to talk to. He's really fun. This is an amazing episode. I think Indian food in New York City was something that was very overlooked and is now like a major component of the trendy fine dining or dining scene. And I believe that Chintan, although he is extremely humble, and his business partner, Ronnie, have a great deal to do with this. I love this man very much, and I hope you enjoy this episode with Chintan Pandya. I was saying to you earlier that I feel like one of the benefits of doing independent things is I can just gas people up, and then I don't have people fact checking me. But I've lived in New York for long enough to make the bold declaration that I think like you and Ronnie and your team changed Indian food more than I've ever seen any group of thing change anything, especially in the sort of like downtown scene, like where people are, you know, lists and blogs and all that kind of stuff. Like you're cooking real Indian food and then you somehow made it delicious enough that the worms, not the worms, but the people decided it was cool. And then, I don't know, it's really exciting. I really appreciate it.
See, you have to understand most of the food, and let's say in our case, ethnic food is always tasty.
Yeah.
What happens is when you take a ethnic food and try to change it or do something different to it because you think that will actually excite the customers. So just for an example, say, let's say ethnic food comes to Western world and you're saying, you know what, Western world eats this, let's make ethnic food in a Western style. In your mind, you are thinking that you are creating something which is palatable to them, but it's not the real taste. So when somebody does anything real or something which is from their heart or soul, it just connects with everybody.
Do you think if you had done the same thing 10 years ago, it would have worked just as well? Like, do you think that the market was more susceptible or open to it?
I think what has happened in last 15 years, I would say that people traveling across the world has increased. And I think what it did was it created a lot of awareness for everybody. You know, like one of the biggest things when we talk to people and majorly non-Indian people or non-subcontinent people, they say that what we eat in India, we couldn't find it here. So we never went to Indian restaurants. And I think because people who have traveled know the actual taste of Indian food. And that's how it changes.
I have a question. I was looking over your history a little bit. You first moved to Cleveland from, where were you living in India? You were in Mumbai?
So I was in Mumbai. I was based out of Mumbai.
Push this.
I was based out of Mumbai all my life in Mumbai. Then I moved to Singapore, then Cleveland, then Atlanta, and then New York.
And why did you go from, like, you were already cooking in Mumbai, obviously. You were like you were a beast?
I was always.
Why did you go from Mumbai to Singapore? Was it just like why move ever?
I was something about me is I'm very I need a lot of challenges. Like I need to know like what's next. Like literally before I came here, I was literally doing I want to change something. So the question is like, you know, like it's always that thing inside you, like I want to do this, I want to do this. I used to work with this hotel chain, like one of the top hotel chains of the world. Yeah. And as a chef over there, everything was phenomenal. And what happens with me is I ask myself, where am I looking myself in next 3 to 5 years? And when I was working in hotel, it's a very contained environment. Like the way you said that you were working for a company where you couldn't ask certain things, even if you wanted to, because you had to be part of that brand image and everything. And I think that's when I realized I need to do something. And in the middle of that, I got this opportunity to be a chef partner at a restaurant in Singapore. And that's how I ended up going there. So it was also to make myself more uncomfortable, get out of that comfort zone, do something what was uncomfortable, and feel that, if I can work in that environment.
And was Singapore uncomfortable?
It was a newer challenge. It was something new where you were working in this company with the entire setup, like a large public limited company and the thing. Just go to a small restaurant on its own where you're practically doing everything.
And then from Singapore, how'd you jump from Singapore to the States?
So I was always doing fine dining restaurants, and then at some point I burnt out myself. So I was like literally burnt out.
In Singapore?
In Singapore, like I was...
Did you crush there? Was it good?
It was good. It was good. It was... you can Google about it. It was good.
I believe you.
It was good. Did a lot of things. I think I achieved as much as I thought I could achieve. And then I didn't see myself doing the same thing for next 3 or 5 years because I wanted to be growing and everything. Was burnt out, like it was crazy. My entire thing was I could feel it and everything. And then I thought, you know what, I'll go back to India, take a break, go back to India and do something on my own after like 9 months or something. Let's just take a break. And in the middle of that, this opportunity came up in Cleveland. And so I just took it over and I said, let me do it.
Why? And did you know, when you said yes to the Cleveland opportunity, did you know that Cleveland wasn't one of the quote unquote cool cities?
I didn't know, and I'll explain you. Anybody who comes from India who has never been to US, their perception of America is New York City.
Right.
That's what you see everywhere, right? And that's the perception. But I think it was aligned with the vision which I was looking at, because I was trying to do a fast casual Indian concept, no longer a restaurant. And I think that was the main motive. So it was not about any city or anything else. Motive was that I'm going to do something that I envisioned doing it. So it just fell into my lap.
That you can grow.
Of thing. Yeah, that's
cool. And what was the concept there?
It was just an Indian fast casual concept. I was with them for 1.5 years or something. We had creative differences and everything. So yeah. And then one thing I'm always clear that, I need that creative freedom. You're going to live one life, right? It's one life and you need that creative freedom to do things and everything. And you can either accept it and move with it, or you can say, you know what, it's better to step out and do something what you love. So I always say that do what you love doing it for next 5 years.
Was it hard? Did you ever not do that in life? Is there anything that you stayed in too long where you didn't feel like you had creative freedom?
No, never.
Never.
I think I'd say it's not worth wasting your time. Trust me, I would say.
But how did you have no fear, or did you just never?
You
just trusted that you would land on your feet always?
Yeah, I always say to people that if you are not insecure and if you are very secured about yourself, you just don't have to budge into things. I'm a very simple human being. I don't have many expensive hobbies or anything. I'm like a bare minimum person you can think of. My entire wardrobe is filled up with my company T-shirts. I don't have anything else most of the times. So I think what happens is it also depends on your needs, right? The more the needs you have, the more you are financially
You
burdened.
can't fail because you don't need that much.
Yeah, I just don't need it. I literally eat a diet food. I literally eat most of the days boiled food.
Yeah.
So it's about it. And I think that's always been the case, if it doesn't excite me, I just don't want to do it.
So then how do you, when you have a lot of employees now, if you have a talented person that you can tell doesn't really want to live exactly in the mold of what you want to do do you just tell them like go do your own thing? Like how do you help others enact the freedom that you have?
I always say to people that, first and foremost, I never, like, even if I interview somebody or if I'm talking to somebody, I don't try to convince them to work for us. Or I would say that, you work for us, we'll do this. I feel that if I try to convince somebody to do something for me, I've already failed in that process, actually. So, and I always say to them that, what do you see yourself doing 3 years from now? And prime example is Eric. Eric was the first employee of the company, and I think it was close to 6.5 years. A Filipino kid cooking Indian food, phenomenal Indian food actually, cooking outstanding Indian food. And I'm like, Eric, I feel very disappointed with myself because what's happening is that we are doing it together, but I get the limelight out of it. I get the name and recognition for it, and you don't get it because maybe you are not Indian. That's why. And I find myself very. I thought I was to be responsible for it, and I said, like, I don't want you to be cooking Indian food all your life. What do you want to do? Like, do something. Like, if you want to go work somewhere, let me know. I'll make few calls, recommend you. You can grow. And I'm like, what do you want to do? And he's like, I want to open up a Filipino restaurant. Like, I want to do what unapologetic Indian is. I want to do unapologetically Filipino food. And I'm like, okay. And then I called up Ronnie and I said, what do you feel? And Ronnie's like, why don't we do it with him?
Yeah.
And that's how the entire process went. So it's always about that, and I always feel like, I always say to people, I feel proud when people who have worked with us and do some good job or something which they recognize with. It's actually a big win for us that we have built up that community and people like that.
Sorry, this is now like totally therapy for me, but when you feel like, what does it feel like? I mean, long story short, you get to New York, you open, what was the first restaurant you opened again? Rahi, right. And that was not with Ronnie.
No, with Ronnie.
With Ronnie?
So me and Ronnie started working on May 1st, 2017.
Okay.
May 11, 2017 is when we opened up Rahi.
So Rahi, and then Ada, and then Dhamaka.
Then Rahi becomes Semma, then Rowdy Rooster, then Masala Wala, then Rowdy Rooster 2, then Nux, and then Adda moves to East Village, and we're opening up in Philadelphia next year.
Dude, it's a fucking all-star cast.
Oh, then we did Kebab Wala. Sorry, Kebab Wala is the latest one.
Yeah.
And then we moving Philadelphia next year.
Okay, so just tell me, like, I didn't think we'd be talking about this at all, but when you get the I feel impatient itch, or like I feel like I need to change something, what do you, like, how do you know if that's the correct impulse? And like, do you ever have to tell yourself to just, I shouldn't listen to this today, I should chill today. If I still feel like next week I need to make a move, then I'll make a move?
I think no textbook can teach you this, or no thing can teach you this. It's more about intuition.
Yeah.
I know it sounds stupid and funny, but there are times in the night I'm sleeping and in my dream I'm getting this idea.
Yeah.
And then I have to literally wake up and do something, either type it or write it somewhere. Like, this is how I want to do it. And I'm not joking, I think Dhamaka happened during COVID, so it had given us a lot of sleepless nights. And I think the entire Dhamaka as a concept and the menu was developed in my dreams.
Like, restaurants to me, and at least my understanding of the way you do restaurants, is more about the region, right? Rather than like sort of the editorial vision. You're like, I want to cook the best food from whatever region, or just the tastiest food from whatever region. Like, so what, I don't understand, like, if I had asked you about the menu from Dhamaka before you had a dream about Dhamaka, like, wouldn't you have been able to come to spew off all those dishes? Like, in my opinion, I think it's more about execution really than it is.
No, I would, and I'll explain you what happened. So we opened up Rahi. It was mid-successful.
Yeah.
It was not like super successful. It was mid-successful. And then we opened up Adda in 2018. And it becomes like a overnight crazy story and everything, like this, like the craziest thing. Never ever thought in the wildest dream kind of a place and everything. And then,
real quick, Rahi, very, very West Village, fancy area of New York. Ada, next to a 7-Eleven and like a halfway house, basically, right?
Like
shelter, in Long Island City.
Yeah.
Like, the kind of place you would not expect.
Yeah, and
which gave people the perception that which something annoys me actually, but people get the sense that they've discovered it.
Yeah, I think what happened is that I got drawn to that location because it was a massive kitchen.
Yeah.
Like massive kitchen. And I'm like, my God, I would never get this kind of a kitchen in New York. So you know what, let me do something. I can use it for something else, stuff like that. And I think, yeah, that's actually my intention was to take it up because of the size of the kitchen and the hood and everything.
Right. So Rahi's a mid-level success. How then do you generate, how did you not just focus 100% on Rahi, not making Rahi a huge success? Like why, how did you?
No, so Rahi was there. Rahi was working well. The numbers were there. Everything was good. Nothing was bad. Like it was doing good and everything. It never got that kind of a media attention.
Yeah.
So it was doing great. The numbers were good. It was a very steady thing.
It was? I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh, it was very steady. It was phenomenal. Like even before, it was consistently doing insane numbers actually. And then Adda opened up, which obviously became like very crazy. And that time we didn't know, like then we were looking for a place and we came to know we're opening up this new restaurant. We didn't know what the name was or whatever it was. And I think the construction for that started in December 2019 or...
For Dhamaka.
Yeah, it wasn't named Dhamaka at that time. There was no name for it. Or January 2020, something like that. It started that. We didn't have a name. But I think there was one thing which was clear between me and Ronnie, that everybody was expecting us to make one more Adda because it was very successful. And the one thing I told Ronnie is like, it cannot be anything to do with Rahi and Adda. It has to be a brand new thing. I cannot do any of the dishes that we sell there over there. It has to be a brand new thing, like something which has to be different. And I think that was the only thing. And Ronnie would chase me for the menu, like, what's the menu? And I'm like, dude, I don't know. And what happened in the middle of that, obviously the COVID happened and then everything stopped. And then it like, what's the menu, dude? Like, I need to get, inform people about it, what it is. I have to inform investors about it, this, that, everything. And I didn't know. And then one fine day, just the idea clicked and I shared the vision and the idea. And then everybody said, yeah, sounds good. Like between me, Ronnie and Eric, we were like, yeah, sounds crazy, but it's good. And that's how we started working on the menu.
And what was the idea?
So it was a funny thing. It was a Monday because normally Mondays I don't work. And it was a Monday and I was sitting home and my wife asked me like, are you hungry? And I'm like, yeah, just make something. I was doing my work on laptop. I'm like, yeah, just do something. And she makes up this meal. She makes up this meal. And she says, oh, the food is ready, come. So what happens in our household is the pot that you make the food in, the same pot comes on the table and you take it out of there. And when I ate the first bite, it was that freshness and the flavor of the food. And I'm like, you know what? Restaurant doesn't have this. This is what restaurant misses. And I think that's what we should do.
So it was built around the pot concept.
Freshness.
Cool.
It was built around the freshness of the thing. It was built around the way the food is served in Indian houses and everything. And that's where the entire concept came into being.
When you did Ada, did you have a similar style thing? Was it a concept around the serving mechanism or was...
So Adda was a very clear thing. I wanted to do regional classics of India, but a lot of attention paid to the ingredients and the integrity of the cooking. What happens with Indian restaurant is that we end up not using the best quality ingredients. Which always, I don't know, every time I've done with the best quality ingredients. It always bothered me a lot. So that's why when we are doing Adda...
I think that's all restaurants. I don't think that's just Indian restaurants.
I don't know about other restaurants, but at least for Indian restaurants, I feel we can push. But again, we have been, tagged as to say that you cannot charge so much.
Right.
That's a different other problem we have. And I think Adda was all about that, regional classics with the focus on the ingredients and the integrity of the food. That's it. It was the simplest, it was the most simple menu that you can think of, but had to be done with insane integrity. That's it.
Do you think it's that sort of ethnic food when it's extremely flavorful food? Sometimes those kinds of cuisines don't feel as much pressure maybe to use really good ingredients because the flavors are so strong that people might not taste the vegetables and stuff as much?
No, I think, see,
It's
India,
just a price thing.
it's a price thing. It's a price thing. Remember, at the end of the day, like, we are in a financial business, right? In
Yeah.
a business, right? We have to generate the revenue. We have to generate the profits and everything. That's the basic idea of running this business. And I think what happens is that you keep on categorizing things, and you look at the economics of food in New York City itself. Like, look at a Japanese restaurant, Italian restaurant, French restaurant. If you serve this cup of coffee, these restaurants can charge you $10 and you won't complain. But if an ethnic restaurant charges you more than $4, same coffee, you'll say, my God, these guys are too expensive. It's a daylight robbery.
Mm-hmm.
It's the perception built around it. Like, when you say of Indian food, people say that this is a food which is for takeout and buffet. It's not meant to be on the table or on the same level as other cuisines.
But does that feel different to you now?
I'll be honest with you, you might think that we should be feeling it different. We still feel that pressure every day. We have people, and like, one of the most things that hurts me the most, and I always say that, is that when people say that you are expensive for an Indian restaurant. If they call me, if they come and say that you are an expensive restaurant, I'll be like, yeah, it's a choice. But I feel very bad, and actually I feel insulted when somebody says you are expensive for an Indian restaurant.
Do you get that from Indian people too?
Majority from the Indian people.
Yeah.
Like, I know this guy who's like, he's like multi-millionaire. I think maybe he's flying private jet every time and everything.
Yeah.
And we talk a lot and everything, and he dines at fanciest of the restaurants possible. And I was talking to him one day, and he told me, yeah, you guys are expensive for an Indian restaurant. And it hurt me. Like, I'm like, somebody at that stage just saying that, it hurts you. Like, why an Indian like that would say that?
Yeah. Do you think any differently about this kind of stuff as you did when you first started?
I don't try to think much about it. I'm somebody who actually hates overcharging a customer. Honestly, as a person, I honestly feel that, I want to keep it priced at the best as much as I can. I never want to overcharge anybody. Like, because I think, like, it's a matter of integrity. As a company, we have a struck policy, like, this is what we feel, this is what we feel, this is how we'll do it. So, and yes, there'll be always somebody saying that, it's expensive, or it's compared to this or compared to that, and there's nothing wrong. Like, I always say to people that, like, it's like if you walked into a showroom of a Mercedes and say that Toyota is priced at that, why aren't you priced at that? It's a choice you have to make, whether you want to buy a Toyota or you want to buy a Mercedes. That's your thing.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So it's okay. There's nothing wrong, and there shouldn't be never any pressure on anybody. I always say, you do the best what you feel will work for you. Everything else will fall into place. That's it.
Yeah. So when you were at Ada, and like, what did it feel like to you when it started to become, when you started to get all the media attention and stuff? Was it like fulfilling, or were you like, no, this is more headaches, people are watching us now?
No, I never felt that.
Because that was the difference, right? Like, you weren't getting to ton. At Ra, he was successful, but it wasn't a media darling. And then
no, it wasn't.
Ada,
but I think Atta, what happened is that the best part about Atta was connecting with people. The connection with people was insane. Like, if you now come to New Adda, there's a section which has got the old newspaper thing which came from the old Adda.
yeah.
And we have actually put up a list over there. I think the biggest learning out of Adda was that when we shut down for COVID, it was a tough times. We might be the only restaurant which was actually open with never shut down even for one day in COVID. We started doing takeout business. We didn't have a choice. We literally started takeout business the day it shut down and everything. And then at that point, we had opened up a GoFundMe. Because what happened is, from a staff of 90 people, we were reduced to 6 people,
Mm-hmm.
which included me and Ronnie. So it was technically 4 or 5 people extra. And everybody was there. And like we were running this thing, like doing anything. We were doing $10 meal boxes. Like you can donate money to give it to anywhere you wanted to give it out and everything. So we were doing that. And in the middle of that, we started this GoFundMe. And like multiple examples, I'll give you 2 of them. One was this lady, her name is Susan. She was a teacher at LaGuardia College across the road. And I think she was a part-time teacher. She will come either Wednesday or Thursday. And this is before COVID. And she will come at 4 p.m. or 3:30 p.m. when her class ended. And next class was 5 o'clock. She will come. The staff would keep food for her. She'll eat the food. She'll pay and go. And this was her, I think it was Thursday. This was her entire every week thing. And then when we started the GoFundMe, I would see every Thursday she would donate certain amount, like $25 or $20. And I couldn't understand why, like every Thursday. So I called her up. I'm like, what's happening? Like, like, why are you doing it? I understand you did it once, it's done. Why are you doing it again and again? She says, no, like, I used to come there every Thursday. I used to spend this money. That was my quota for you guys. I'm just giving it back to you. But I said, no, you're not eating here. And she says, no, the memories that you gave me or you made me part of your family is my lifelong thing. So you are one of the people I don't want to I don't want you shut your business down because of COVID. And that's why I do it. And I think this is what Adda built for us, that connection, that community, that people we could talk to, it became like a family.
So why do you think it was different than Rahi? Why didn't Rahi have that?
I genuinely don't know. I seriously, and I always say to people, like everybody says, oh, you guys have this formula and everything. I said, I wish I had a formula because I would write a book and make millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I said, there's no formula. I said, I think there's no bigger thing than a human connection. There's no bigger thing than a human connection. I think it was the human connection. That's it.
But was the food better? Like, were you doing something that you were more excited about, maybe?
One thing is that I would not do anything that I'm not excited about.
Even at Rahi?
Even at Rahi.
Okay.
It was very exciting for me. In fact, people who I work with and everything, they feel that the most exciting food I've ever done was Rahi.
Yeah.
Like Ronnie till date will say that. Like he till date says that you're doing the most
I ate there.
Yeah, he says it was the
amazing.
most exciting food. It was he says and we were going crazy over there. We were doing so many changes. We'll work seasonally. We'll do this. We'll do that. We're challenging ourselves every day. Like we'll come up with at least 1 or 2 ideas every week. Like do this, do that.
Yeah, I think sometimes just in terms of people's perception, sometimes when something opens without any fanfare and it doesn't get any kind of acknowledgements within the first few months, that it always just lives in people's heads as like a thing that's just okay and not like exciting,
and
which is sort of bullshit. But I get that. Like to me, anything you guys open now, I'd be like, oh, holy shit. But like to just because here's what it is actually for me with Rahi. I would walk by like every day and I never tried it for a long time. And so it didn't matter to me, right? It was just a thing that I saw.
Yeah.
So then someone was like, you should go there. And I'm like, that place? I walk by there every day with, and then someone's like, you should go out to Long Island City. There's a cool, really exciting restaurant under a bridge with a bunch of people shooting up next to it. And I'm like, oh, it's sick, No,
I think what happens is, and I think what happens a lot of time is that, and I think this is where it comes into play, where you keep on working hard, it doesn't work out, then you feel very dissatisfied. But I think the thing was that I was always like, we have to keep on doing something. It doesn't matter. Like that, it's always a part and parcel of the life. You don't know something. Like, like somebody comes up to me and says, oh guys, you guys are overnight success. I said, yes, cooking for 25 years is overnight success. Then I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
You understand? So I always say that don't stop. Like winning and losing is a part of the game.
That's just the fee.
That's just the thing that you are doing.
Yeah.
Quitting is something you should never do. Yeah, like it's okay. Like there are so many things we do. We fail. We do this. We do that. You just keep on trying. You keep on pushing yourself. And I think that's the best part about doing something. Losing is one of the most amazing experiences, actually.
Absolutely. I mean, it kills me a lot, but I think that success looks kind of like you go up and down a lot, but in aggregate, you're kind of going up.
Yeah. You have to say to yourself.
But it's not up, I guess. It's just
No. You have to convince yourself that you are moving forward. You understand? Like,
because you're not. It's just it's all bullshit anyway.
Everything around you is just something which is making noises, good way, bad way, whatever it is. In yourself, in your deep thinking, in your own heart, how are you moving forward? That's the most important part. Like, when you wake up tomorrow, are you better than what you were yesterday? That's it. It could be 0.01% change in your life. That's it. You understand? Like, and I always say to people that I think as a person, I'm a very mediocre person. I'm genuinely say that. But one thing I say that the good thing about me is perseverance and just waking up every day and working hard. I swear by God, like I just wake up every day and there are very few, like not even like, I don't think so. Like if I'm at work, like even if I'm like tired inside, you won't feel from me that I'm tired. Like I'll still have an energy of like insane, like I want to do this. Okay, let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do that. Like it's always there because I think, that's what moves you forward.
Are there other ways you've pushed yourself forwards besides working in kitchen and stuff? Like, do you think about that in other parts of your life? Fitness, relationships.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm blessed with a very bad metabolism. So I have to be very control of what I eat, exercise, workout, a lot of things. So it has to. It's a part and parcel of the life which I have to keep on doing it. Like something at this point, I think what I love the most is spending time with my kids. Actually, so yeah, that is the most satisfying thing.
Can you teach them perseverance?
So my kids are 7 and 5.
Yeah.
I think I control a 250 people team. I cannot control those two. I swear they do what they want to. Like they are on their own, like that kind of people. Kids.
Did someone teach you perseverance? Or is that something you had inside of you? I'm obsessed with perseverance, by the way.
And I'll explain you what has happened with me is that, and when I look as a kid, as a teenager, as I said, I was not a very extraordinary talent or something. I was very mediocre, like everything. So I realized the only way to succeed in this life for me is to be very hardworking. Is to be like totally focused, hardworking and perseverance. That's it. So I thought that if I have to succeed in my life, this is what I have to do. If I was talented, maybe I wouldn't have been hardworking.
I struggle with that sometimes because I things come to me quite quickly.
Yeah.
And then so I feel like when I was younger, it took a lot for me to learn perseverance. I didn't really learn until...
I swear by God, and I'm not joking, when I say this, everything that I've got, I think if somebody works for 10%, I have to work for 100%.
Yeah.
Everything that I get in my life. And everybody thinks it's very easy for me. I swear by God, like I have to work the hardest to get whatever I want.
What about creativity? What about like coming up with new menu items and stuff like that?
Oh, I every time I get an idea, I have to do that. It takes me, I fail so many times. I keep on like, basically...
Pull your hair out?
Yeah, I do so many blunders. I do so many mistakes and everything. So when somebody sees it and they think, oh my God, it's good, but you just don't understand how much time it took me to come up to that.
So do you think then, would you not say maybe your natural talent is perseverance?
Yes, it is. Hard work, perseverance and focus. Like I'm very like, like.
Do you impress the young cooks sometimes? Or are they like, how the fuck is he still going?
A lot of people come and say about mentoring and everything. And I say that, like learning is a very internal thing. Like the way I learned is through a very difficult way. Like I would like be chasing them and everything. But nowadays people are like, they want to be spoon fed and everything. But in that case, you don't end up learning too much. So yes, they ask me for help and everything. I'm always there for it. But in today's time, I don't see that fire, like, that people had 20 years back, 25 years back. And I'm sure if you speak to a lot of chefs from old times, they will say the same thing.
Okay, so then Ada, then Dhamaka, then Semma, obviously, and now that you do have that kind of now that you do have like that spotlight, how do you now think about new things, or do you just do it like the way you've always done it? You don't try to think about.
I think if I always say to people that when you try to do something that you don't believe in, or something that is not authentic, a consumer will always catch you. You know why? Because they are paying money to dine in your restaurants. If you did something which is not you, it is very different from what you believe in, it just comes across. And I think that's the best part about creativity, that the day you do something, and it goes in all the fields. It literally, like any kind of a creative field, if you go to art, cinema, movie, whatever you pick up, if you see somebody doing a forceful form of it, you will be the first person to say that it looks very fake.
Yep.
So everything that we do, we just believe in it. You know, like I still remember, like when we opened up Rowdy Rooster, the first one, I was based out of there for 3-4 months, frying chicken every day. Like something funny I realized, I'll come to that, but I remember this food writer coming there, and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, "This is my shop." He says, "But why are you working here?" And I'm like, "What do you mean by why are you working here? It belongs to me." He says, "You have restaurants. You should be in the restaurants, not here." I said, "No."
He said you should.
Yeah, he said, "You should be in the restaurants. Why are you here?" And I said, "If I didn't believe in this concept, why should I open it?"
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I believe in it. That's why I'm here.
And how's that doing? Because so you did intend to make fast casual concepts. That was was why you moved to America.
Yeah, and I think I love doing different things. As I said, like even if you look at our company portfolio right now, it's built up in very dynamic way. There are different things happening. So it's always challenging. It's always fun, and like we always keep on coming up with stupid ideas. So it just keeps on working.
So you said like you think that the more Indian restaurants, the better, right? Like you like the competition, or you think it builds everyone up?
It actually pushes you to do better. And I'd say like it's not about. I don't think so. See, competition is a very. It's like when you're competing in Olympics, you have one medal.
You're not.
Gold medal.
Yeah.
That's competition because you're competing for that one medal, right? If you are in a World Cup, there are 32 teams, keep on going.
One medal.
One team wins. That is a competition. We are not in a competition. We are in a market, right? And I always say to people that, let's say if today we are 100 people eating in an Indian restaurant in the entire New York City, for example of it, we shouldn't be fighting to say that, divide 100 by this many people. Make the share to 1,000. And I think the more Indian restaurants will come, it's going to actually make all of us perform more better. You understand? Nobody is going to be just sitting there and on a status quo. Nobody is like comfortable in anything. We're pushing each other to be better. So the more, like, look at the Korean food in New York City right now. I think it's a prime example. Look at this. There are so insane Korean restaurants, and each one are of a phenomenal caliber and quality, and the chefs who are running it are so talented. I think in next few years, Indian food is going to be at that level where you'll have lot of these insane Indian chefs and Indian restaurants at the same level. And so I don't even call it a competition. I don't think so. It's a competition. I don't think so.
So does it bother you when people are like ranking restaurants against each other?
Around me get a lot of bothered by it. I genuinely don't get bothered by it. And and it's an honest thing that I feel, and I always say that. I'll explain you something, that somebody judging you, that's his perception of saying it. That this is good, this is bad, this is whatever it is, I don't know that. And it's his idea of that thing. I cannot change his idea. My job is to just do the best what I believe in I'm doing. Everything else is a byproduct of it. So I'll be honest, and I think you might feel that you're just saying for sake of it. I genuinely doesn't bother me at all.
No, I don't think you're saying that for the sake of it at all. I mean, I completely agree with you. I just want all restaurants to care and be good.
Yeah, I'll give you.
Unfortunately, I do feel like rankings and stars and all that kind of shit. Like it does. In a world, it would be better if none of that stuff existed.
No, it should. I think.
But in a world, it does push everyone. I think
it pushes everyone. I think also. See, at the end of the day, humans love to be recognized.
Yeah, of course.
Humans love to be acknowledged. Right? That's a human tendency. So it's a phenomenal thing. It happens, and I think a lot of people actually make their entire life's mission to achieve that. Which I'm not in favor of.
Can't take them with you.
Yeah, which I'm not in favor of.
Yeah.
I literally love to do what excites me. I always say that. Like, whatever I get after that is a byproduct of it. Like, for example, I'll give an example. I was a part of this very prestigious school and I got selected for it. But there were people who I thought were far more better than me. Literally, they were better than me in any day, I would say. Theoretically, practically, everything in all the ways of
kitchen. Is it as a kid?
In cooking line, when I did my catering school. They were phenomenal. Like in terms of knowledge, you ask them, they would know everything, practically this. And when these interviews happen, very strict interviews, 7-8 interviews and very strenuous process, and I got selected. And I couldn't understand why. Like those guys didn't get selected. I didn't got selected. I'm like, I don't know what happened. So after when I was in that school, after a year and a half, I went to my coordinator, my teacher. And I said, I want to ask you a question. It's been in my mind for the longest. And he says, yeah, what's the question? And he says, when I applied for this interview, there were these other kids who were far more superior. Like if you looked at their scores, test scores and everything, were far more better than me. And everything. But they didn't go chosen for this. And I got selected for this. What happened? So he says what happens is that you have to understand that the criteria what we were looking for is a person who's on a scale of 1 to 10 between 6 to 6.5. So we don't want 7, 7.5, 8.59. Neither do we want 5.55. We look at 6, 6.5 because these are the people we think we can train them and make them achieve what is needed. And maybe you fit that criteria. Maybe they were 9 or 10. And I think that's where they lost it because they were 9 and 10. And you got selected because you are 6 and 6.5. Right? And it actually opened up my idea to say that, when somebody is judging you, maybe their criteria would be different from what they are looking out of you.
Sort of. I mean, that's an incredible story.
No, it's insane. Like, I still remember this story is 25 years back. And I every day say this, somebody says, oh, it didn't happen like this. And I said, maybe we were too overqualified for it. Or maybe underqualified. I don't know. But there maybe criteria.
I doubt some idiot on TikTok is saying a restaurant's bad because it's too good.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
Wait, so was culinary school, this was catering school?
Yeah.
It's different than culinary school?
So in India, what happens is that you do your 3-year catering diploma. And then there are these big hotel chains. At that point of time, there were only 3 of them and they have their own management school.
What?
And it's every student's dream to get into that.
Crazy. And they're super prestigious?
Super prestigious, but these schools are very different. If you get selected in them, they pay you money to study there. I didn't pay any fee to them. They paid me money to study there.
But you guarantee a certain amount of years to the hotel?
So the hotel that I was chosen for, Oberoi Hotels and Resorts, it was the only company which didn't bind you by contract. So you could do it for 2 years and you can leave them after that. They always believed in that. And I think, when I say that that insecurity is what kills human beings, like insecurity. And I think that is one of the biggest examples where they were not at all insecure as a hotel group. They were investing money in you for 2 years. And after 2 years, after that is they're like, if you don't want to work, it's okay.
Yeah. But they built better relationships with the people because they weren't clingy.
Even today, I always say that I will say that a lot of things that I've achieved in my life as a human being, as a person, all credit to that hotel group. Their learnings, they inculcate that culture into you. You understand? They built you like that.
Are they still around? Biggest?
Oh, they're biggest. Yeah, their hotel was named #1 in the world in 2023 or 2024. They have a hotel in Jaipur called Rajulas. In the world, not India. In the world, it was rated #1.
Was it a prestigious thing to do? Like if you were like from a very wealthy family or something, would it be prestigious for you to go there, or is it like a trade?
It's not that you can go there. They have to choose you.
No, I understand, but like they would still be considered wow.
Oh yeah. It's very it's crazy. I think at least if I'm not mistaken, I might be wrong. I don't know the exact data, but I think in the year I got selected there, I think at least 900 to 950,000 kids would have appeared for the interviews, and our batch size was 50 in 3 streams. So kitchen, housekeeping.
What the fuck?
Kitchen, housekeeping, and hotel management training. It's 52 to be precise. I think between 3 streams.
Wow. So when you meet people from India
Oh yeah, a lot of people in India know about it.
They're blown away.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. Yeah, and yeah, it's a very prestigious thing. And,
was it intense?
Very intense. Very intense. And I think it's intense in the sense that it builds you up as a professional. It builds you as a human being. Like it instills the idea of discipline into you. It instills the idea of professionalism into you. It just instills the idea of hospitality into you.
And you still think about their teaching a lot?
Every moment, every day.
Wow. What are other things that they were teaching that were surprising, or like that?
It was like learning was something that you wanted. It was not that they were teaching you in a classroom saying that, oh, learn this, this, and this. They were like, you are supposed to learn this. Go. They had a library you could access to. Like anything that you wanted to.
But you were also so happy to be there that you were excited to learn, right?
I'm a very selfish human being for learning. I love learning. And I'm very selfish. I'm very selfish when it comes to learning. I can go to any extent that you can think of if I feel that I can learn something out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah.
That's why they picked you.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish they picked me for that. I don't know.
No, they
like
picked
even
you
today,
because you're a 6.
Yeah, I was 6. Yes, that's what.
Or maybe they tell you that. Maybe they're like the CIA. They identified something incredible in you.
See, understand something.
And the greatest lesson that they can teach you is when you say, "Why did you pick me?" and they say, "Because you're average." But really, you weren't average. Really, you were special, and it was just the final mind.
No,
fuck.
It's not about it. It's not about it. And I think if you think about it, like I remember this story very clearly, and I think what happens is that when you know something, most of the people go with the idea like, I don't need to learn about it. But when you don't know something, when you go into that room, you are so inquisitive. You understand? You want to learn.
You're a bigger sponge.
Yeah, you want to push yourself. It's like a sponge. When you put it in the water, it will absorb all the water. So I think that's what it was all about. And I genuinely remember, like, whatever you needed in OCLD, like if that helps you learn or become better, they would supply it to you. Like you could go to the library and say that, I saw this book somewhere and can we get the book in the library? And this is internet was new that time, right? So it was not like you can access a book, something which was happening somewhere in Spain. Like today I can do anything, like I can go what's happening in Spain. It was not that. It was through books we were looking at it. It's
crazy.
Yeah, crazy. It's crazy. And I remember so it's a funny story because last month I was invited to Chicago to cook at the Trotter restaurant, Charlie Trotter's restaurant, Trotter House. And it's a charity now and his son is there and everything. And I told him, I said, you know what, sometimes you feel life comes in a full circle. And he says, what do you mean? And I said, I remember I was in my OCLD and I was doing, I would every day look up to those books of Charlie Trotter, and his books had this specific T sign on the front. And then he had the things, and I would always say to myself, one day, I'll write a book and I'll have my initials like that. So it was such a phenomenal moment that you're cooking there and you have all these books over there and everything. I just told him it just feels very fun.
Sick. Okay, last couple things. Do you think about, like, do you get excited about changing? Do you think about the narrative of Indian food as a whole in America, or do you really just think like every day wake up, try to get 1% better, 0.01% better? Or do you get excited like when you hear someone who would have said something maybe stupid about Indian food or not cared or not be willing to pay, and then that same person has been on a journey and comes back and says, I was wrong, like this food is up there with any other? Do you care about that, or do you really just like keep your head down, try to make as good food as you can every day?
See, again, as I said in the earlier part of it, that you don't need to convince anybody. I cannot convince you for anything. And I think my job is to deliver the best version of Indian food. It's one of my dreams one day where Indian food should be a mainstream food in America. We are not a mainstream food right now. My goal is that as long as I survive in this world, that I could make Indian food mainstream food in America. That is one of the biggest dreams I have. And the day we achieve it, I'll be very happy.
Well, I think you're getting close. Or not getting close, but you're certainly pushing the cart up the hill.
Yeah, you're pushing the cart up the hill, and I think what happens is it's one when people also want to do what is working. It's like when you bell the cat, right? Somebody has to do it. And I think people come up to us and say that, good, you're doing this. It has empowered us to do this now.
Yeah. Well, they see that they can make money, and they see that they can be ranked and whatever.
Think about it that, and even if today I have to say that the quality and the level of Indian food in New York is getting better and better each day. But I wouldn't say that for all other cities also.
Right.
Indian food in New York is at a different level. But I think any cuisine in New York is at a different level if you consider.
Yeah. Like so everything. Dense.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's fun to see, like, so amazing, like even Thai food. Look at the Thai food in New York. It's insane. Like, it's outstanding.
Yeah.
Korean food, Mexican food is getting there. But again, a lot of people will say that Mexican food in LA is far better than New York. Which maybe, because they have very close proximity to Mexico. But New York food, Mexican food is outstanding. French is insane. Italian is insane. Japanese obviously is insane. So yeah, I think as a city in America, I think New York is the most exciting city if you love eating out.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so now that you have all these restaurants and all of the restaurants, you've got VJ at Semma, how do you, as the sort of chef, owner, co-owner, whatever, what's your relationship like with a guy like that? Like, how do you let him do what he wants and also like sort of be like, how do you balance creative?
I think what happens is that, as I said, that creativity is a very individual thing, right?
Yeah.
The way Vijay thinks, if I try to change his thinking to my thinking, it will be a disservice to both of us.
Okay.
And that goes to all the chefs. My job is more to support and get the best out of them. That is the key to it. If you keep on imposing your thought process on somebody, if somebody imposed their thought process on me, I wouldn't have been able to do what I do. I had to be on my own, but there had to be people who supported and understood what I'm doing and just helped me navigate right path. So when I work with this bunch of, like, the entire team of chefs that we have, I have to say to them that my job is to navigate you. My job is to just make sure you are on the right path wherever you're going. But the delivery will still belong to them.
What are good ways you've found of doing that?
I always say that, is it exciting enough for you? That's the main thing. Like, is this the best version of this thing?
Are you using the expensive tomatoes again?
Yes, we are.
That's fun. Okay. I think we can, is there anything anything you've been thinking about recently that you don't really get to talk about that you care about? Do you have any things that get you in trouble recently?
No. I don't get into trouble nowadays. The problem with me is I'm very blunt.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I say something to people, they actually don't feel bad normally. They feel like it's not coming from a bad place. But yeah. The HR manager says, don't talk directly to people, please.
No, I mean, that's funny. I mean, like, do you think, I always used to say, what was I had a joke that I was working on about how white people made the average white person who has dedicated himself to cooking Chinese food makes better Chinese food than the average Chinese person. And it was a crazy thing, but it would get me in big trouble.
No, it's a very true thing.
Because they care.
Because they care. They
Yeah.
choose to cook Chinese food.
Yes.
So they want to learn right way of making it. You understand? I always say that. Like what did I say? Like, Eric cooks insane Indian food. But nobody would acknowledge that fact. Very talented guy.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody would acknowledge because he's a Filipino kid.
Yeah. All right, I'll get back working on that joke.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when someone learns a second language and they obsess over it. People think they're annoying because they're like, that's not the right
I was
grammar.
still on record. There's a funny joke I'll say that Russell Peters said.
Off record?
Off record.
Okay, we leave then.
Okay.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.